Okay, back in the ski shop again today, and what we're going to talk about and try to demonstrate is what I refer to as sidewall blending. And this is important on, not really on most cap skis. You may do a teeny bit of this, but this is not really a cap ski deal. This is a sandwich ski thing. And when you have a sandwich ski, often what happens, I've got a few different ones here that we'll try this with and try to show you how to handle this. This ski here actually it's almost a little bit of both in the construction, and a lot of skis will be like that nowadays. They have a sandwich portion. Well, it's more sandwich, let's say, toward the center, and then as they came toward the tips, they went to a sort of a cap design. This actually is a sandwich here, though, all the way up. And this ski's already been treated somewhat, but I want to show you anyway. Often what happens on a true sandwich, where the top sheet and everything's super flat, you get a little ridge right here where the top sheet, connects to the middle layers and the edge. You get a little edge there anyway, and you can feel it in your fingernail oftentimes. And what happens when the skis bang together, okay, and which probably shouldn't be doing that, but it happens. But when they come together and the edge of the other ski hits this ski, if it hits that little lip and that edge there, it starts messing up the top sheet, okay, and delaminate it. And it also is not as smooth if you happen to cross your tips or hit them a little bit if you smooth it out. So anyway, let's start here. And so there's along with rounding this top sheet off, you also take just the shovel portion of the ski. Don't go, past the contact point. Actually, I like to only round off the metal edge, just where the ski starts to lift off the snow. I'll go just a little bit past that. And then what we do is we come to that metal edge and we start rounding that. Okay? We round it with the file first, and then we'll come back with some sandpaper. So that way, when this tip shovel crosses the other ski and hits it, this part that's above the snow, just that last little bit, you've rounded that steel edge. And since you've rounded that steel edge, when it does come in contact with the other ski, it's not going to cause as much damage here, okay? So anyway, I got a bastard file here. It was a pretty coarse file, and this should remove a considerable amount of material pretty quickly, okay? So what you do is you always come from this side. Don't go this way, okay? From the top sheet toward the edge. Now, the most important part to do this in a ski is typically, just this front region, okay? You don't necessarily have to go all the way back to the binding, but depending on the ski construction, that may be preferable actually to smooth it out from the front of the binding all the way to the tip, and then you can do the same thing in the tail from the rear of the binding, then all the way back to the tail. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your file and you're going to start filing away this direction. Pretty coarse file. We're removing a lot of material. You want to just change the angle of your file a little bit, like, okay, the idea is to really smooth it and blend it all the way till you get to the metal edge even, is what you really want to do. Okay, so now I'll keep doing this generally, especially in this region, until I feel the file come in contact with the upper side of the metal edge, okay? And keep in mind, you're going to change the angle of your file, because what you're trying to do is really round that off and make it super smooth. Don't be afraid to go into the top sheet some, okay? That's the whole idea. Bring that top sheet back. Bring the top sheet down from the filing. And you're going to expose the layers of the skis more. But the whole idea is to get that really round right to the edge. Okay? Now you can just, I usually will continue on one angle for the stroke from here to there. And then now I'll come back and I'll do it at a little different angle, to further round it. Still haven't caught the metal edge yet, but we're working it slowly. We're getting there now. Really hit the shovel, man. Where the shovel comes up in the air, that's where you really want to round that puppy down too. So pretty much, as you're coming down the ski and you're getting to the thicker portions, you don't round it as much. But the main area, again, is up in this tip area. You really want to bring that top sheet down. Really round it off. Like I say, I'm continuing to file until I feel it touch that metal edge. We're just starting to get there now. Now this file is pretty coarse, so it's going to leave a lot of striation that you don't want either. So I'd say that's, I could go more, but for the purposes of the demonstration, there we go. We go a little bit more here. When I'm done with this right here, I'll go ahead and drop the ski down flat, and we'll look at both. We'll take a look at both of the top sheet sides, so you can kind of get a contrast as to what we've accomplished here. Okay, that's pretty good for this file. I'm not going to get real technical with this demo here, but I want you to understand what's going on. Your file's going to get pretty well clogged up with the plastic, but the plastic comes out real easy. So after you've filed a little bit, you want to do some more. Get your, your metal brush, and brush that junk out of the file, so that you can get a nice bite again on the next one. Okay, so there you go. You can use a file card for this, or a little stainless steel toothbrush type thing, or the really good brass ones work really good for this, especially when you're doing edge tuning in the metal. So, okay, so we went with that coarse file. Now we're going to get a finer file, okay? This file is much finer than the last one. So now we're going to hit it with the finer file to smooth up some of those striations, okay? And we're still going to be removing a little material there. Well, of course, I hope so. It's a file. That's what it's supposed to do. But this is gonna make a little smoother cut. Okay. Now, if you just tack the very top of your edge of the metal, and you see a little marks where you hit, don't worry about it. That's not really the part that you're carving with. That's the top of the edge. And so, but we want to smooth it right to that. Okay. Okay, so now that we've taken a little finer file, kind of smooth that off a little bit better with that. Okay, now we're going to come back with a coarse fiber pad, that's your maroon color. And these are abrasive. This is your coarse abrasive fiber pad. Really good at cutting hair off. So let's say while you did this, you got a bunch of hair, plastic hair. Take your fiber pad, just kind of work that a little bit, smooth her down. Okay, there you go. Now we're going to start working it with our sandpaper. So, Depends on, there's no one way, that you, or one grit of paper that you want to use here. But naturally, like with anything else, you're going to start from one grit and go to a finer grit. This is a 100 grit paper here, okay? So take this 100 grit paper and we'll start sanding this puppy. We want it really smooth. I mean, just smooth as can be. Just like, anything you're doing on your edges. You want those edges smooth. That's why you polish them all out with your diamond stones and your ceramics and all that good stuff. Anyway, so you want to smooth this puppy from the filing. You don't need, it's going to depend on the ski, but you're not going to need too much on the 100 there. Okay, so there we run the 100. Now we'll find a piece of something less gritty. Let's see what we got here. I'm digging through my goodies here. Okay, now I'm going to go to a piece of 180. A piece of the 180. And normally I'd cut this up into smaller pieces to do this, but I don't want to waste time right now doing this, so we're going to take the piece of 180 and we're going to do the same thing. Oh yeah, she's getting pretty smooth there now. And plastic will definitely clog up the sandpaper relatively quickly. Sandpaper's cheap, so just keep moving it when you get a cloggy spot. And generally this is done before you do your final edge tuning. So that way, as you do hit your middle edge with the sandpaper a little bit, you're not concerned about that because you're going to go over that whole edge and tune it, So this is like one of the first steps you do when you're tuning that ski nice and fine. Okay, so that's pretty good right there on this ski. I think that's good enough. So I'll go ahead and stop the camera now, and we'll pop the ski up and we'll see if we can get some close-ups of each edge to see sort of the difference there. Stand by. Okay, like I said, this may not be the best ski to really see the difference, but so this is the edge or the top sheet that I've blended in. Okay, now it's really smooth coming around here now. Okay, and you can see, you'll be able to see where the yellow starts and the black starts and all that there. See, I've rounded that around real nice. Now we'll come to the other edge that has not been done as severely, and you see now as you wrap around this, you don't see the black as soon unless I really come around, and then you can see the edge there, but okay, so it's not nearly as rounded, see? You see there? Okay. So there you go. This one's nice and rounded off now. And this side is not so rounded off. Okay, so we'll show an example on another ski. Okay, this should be a good example to show you. This is an old rusty bi-ski, sandwich construction. Been laying outside a long time, so it's really, she's pretty toasty. But this is a super fat. I mean, look at how fat. Let me see if I can get my finger in there somewhere. Look at how fat this thing is. I mean, it is so fat. But these skis run on a sled and they never touch each other per se, So, but this would be a good example to show you in the extreme of how you might round this off. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to take the sidewall planer, and there's all different kinds, and I'll sidewall plane this a little bit as if I was going to tune this edge, because this edge has to be more exposed to get a tune on it. And then after the sidewall planing, there should end up being a ridge or a groove in here, And then what we want to do is round this part off and blend that so that we don't see that groove. So stand by. Okay, now I've run the sidewall planer down this side of the ski. And you can see where it just tacked the very top of the metal edge a little bit. And then you can also see where it cut into the sidewall. And then you can also see above where it cut that there's well, where it hasn't cut, right here there's a nice lip. Okay, see it catch my fingernail? Okay, well, so you can look at that like, okay, you do not want that ridge, because that's what the other ski's going to come up and catch, that ridge, just like a lot of the top sheets right here are sticking out a little higher here. And if they're sticking out higher, well, you need to remove that. So, okay, so we did the sidewall planing. Okay, that would be, now if I was going to do, that would be the first thing I would do, would be to get this edge where I could get the file and whatnot on it. And that file would be hanging over the side of the ski a little bit. And we don't want to come in contact with any of the sidewall material when we're doing that. So anyway, so now what we need to do, see that? We need to remove all this. We need to round it off. And again, this is a super fat thing. So I don't know, as I do this, how many layers I might get into or what's inside there, but we'll grab the file and go to town. Okay, got out that coarse bastard file again, and we're going to go to town, and we'll go ahead and start down about here somewheres. And we got two different sidewall materials here, but anyway, so here we go. This sidewall material in here is a PTEX, or a plastic, and then this other stuff is some other kind of material. So the more rubbery PTEX one, I don't believe it's ABS, it may be ABS, but ABS, filing ABS and filing UHMW sidewall, pretty similar. You're going to clog up your file pretty quick, so you're only going to get so many strokes on it before you're going to have to come back and clean that file. We's getting it there, we's getting it there. I say, don't be afraid to come into the top sheet this way and really get an angle developed from the top and then wrap it around. Okay? Ooh, I can smell that fiberglass. You know, you start cutting that fiberglass, you can really smell that stuff. Not bad, it's just you can smell it. You can smell that fiberglass. Coming around pretty good there now. Okay, now on this ski, the edge material actually stops here. From the rest of the tip out, there is no edge material. And remember, I talked about coming back here where you lift it off the snow and rounding that edge. When you have a ski that the edge doesn't continue all the way up, or there's no tip protector to protect that little metal edge, another little tip is where that interface is, sometimes you come back and you just very slightly file that on a little bit of an angle, so that if this, from the plastic to where the edge is, if that hits something, it doesn't catch it right there. So feel the base of the ski with your scraper, and where that edge just comes, if you feel a little tick there or a grab, you need to come in and file that at a little bit of an angle, just right there at the very tip of it where it connects. If you do file a little teeny groove in there, it may actually be better than this edge popping out, okay? But when we talk about rounding that and smoothing it, now if you come up here and it's just base material, it's not going to be as hard or damaging if it hits a ski, but it can still get scarred real easy. So even if you round that base material out a little bit on the edge, and you know, you'll do that with sandpaper too. Okay, so kind of fell off track on the sidewall, but that's kind of all kind of part of tuning that in. So I'm going to finish this up here. The course file. You want to develop an angle as you come up on the top to the top sheet. You want to smooth that out. Don't want the other ski to grab when it hits that. Now racers do this. It also helps when that ski bangs into a gate. It helps prevent this top sheet from delaminating, because when you're done doing this, the thing that's going to hit the gate is that steel edge, okay? And not the top sheet, you know? And again, when your skis clack together, go to sort of cross tips, you're not going to mess your sidewall up this way, and start knocking into that top sheet and delaminating it. And if the ski does pop up over this, well, the whole thing's way smoother, and so it's less likely to cause any damage. It's more likely to slide up over it a little bit easier. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here, and I think just for the purpose of the video, I'm not going to totally go to town on this, because I just want to give you an idea of what is supposed to be done. Okay, and this is again an extreme example because this is super thick. Most of your skis aren't going to be that thick, okay, especially at the tip. It's going to get way thinner there, and you're not going to need to do nearly this much work. Now we're going to come back with the finer file again. Work that fiberglass top sheet, try to get some of the striations and the little cutting marks out of there. Come back over the sidewall. Move that sidewall a little bit from that coarse file that you were running over it. Okay, that's pretty good there. Okay. And again, back to your sandpaper. Again, there's no fast and hard rule about what grit you want to use. I probably would not use, a 50 or an 80 or whatever. So again, we're going to start the first sanding with the 100, the 100 grit. Okay. And at this point, remember, now we're going to come back. We're doing this in preparation to tune the edges. Okay, this would be like the first thing you did to the ski when it was brand new. And we're going to tune that edge. So we wouldn't worry about hitting this edge with the sandpaper a little bit, okay? Don't worry about it. Well, you kind of want to do that, when you get that brand new ski. And soften that edge a little bit so you can actually get in the file better anyway. So now we're sand away. Another reason you want your sidewalls really smooth when you're a carver, high edge angles, the sidewall is part of the running surface. I mean, the sidewall is down in the snow and it's running. And this is why we often use a paste wax or a rub in some wax and buff, rub and buff wax into these sidewalls. Okay, so your sidewall is something that you wax as well. Now on a cap ski, yeah, you don't do that. You're not gonna, more than likely, even if it is a ultra high molecular weight UHMW sidewall that would take some wax into it, that does not mean that you're going to iron wax your sidewalls, but just at least wax that's considered a rub-on wax. I like to use the graphite zoom on the sidewalls because it is a rubbable in wax, and so is the race zoom old snow. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now we're going to come back to the next paper again. I'm going to drop it down to the 180. Really pay attention on your interface between the top sheet and the sidewall. Well, pay attention to all of it, but there you go. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so that's it. Now, all this ski would need to be done now is we'd need to start tuning that edge. So I'll pull the camera off the tripod, see if we can get a little better close-up on what we've done here. Stand by. Okay. Remember that ridge from before? He's gone now. Watch this. Take my fingernails, run it across there, see? We're smooth now. We're smooth all the way there. Now we're ready to go ahead and do an edge tune there. Okay, we've got all the sidewall completely out of the way through the use of the sidewall planer, and then coming back and removing everything above where the sidewall planer worked to completely smooth that in. Now if we come down to the other end of the ski, now you would do this on the tail too. Let's see how square this is now and where it's never been worked on, and you can see exactly what happens to the top sheet. See when things nick it and hit it, see? Because it does have a little catch ledge there, It's not smooth, okay? So that got to be smoothed. And in these bi-skis, what does happen is the people that are operating from behind, not that skiers can't go independently on these, but the people behind, they always hit their skis on the tail of these. And so it's a similar thing, okay? So here's where the ski tail keeps getting hit by the other skier who's behind them, okay? See how damaged up that is? That's really messed up. And so often what we do with these skis, of course I never did work on this ski, I just got it because they were throwing it away, is we file down this whole end of this ski, we treat it just like a sidewall, and we file it down real smooth. And usually each time we come back and tune, we got to kind of redo that because the other people are running over this with their skis, and their edges are hitting this and cutting it up and cutting it up and cutting it up. And well, there you go. So okay, stand by. Okay, alternate view. Here's the side we worked on. Okay, it's nice and smoothed out. You can kind of see the layer, that top sheet and the white stripe. And now all this is coming around, like I say, really smooth. I mean, she's really smooth now, all the way around to the metal edge. Okay, now what this used to look like before we just started doing that was like this edge. Look, oh, it's square. I mean, it's so square. You got to come all the way around there to catch any of that stuff here. And so again, this is square, and there'll be a little lip there. Whoop. There'll be a little lip there, that catches on you. And so now if the ski edge comes up and hits this, it's really going to start damaging the top sheet again. Okay? So there's your difference. Okay? And I mean, that puppy is really round now. I mean, we're looking straight onto it right now, and you can see all the way around it. Now we're looking straight on this one, and you can't see around it at all. So I hope you're seeing what's going on. And I'm getting really shaky with my camera. Okay, stand by and we'll show you an example on another kind of ski. Okay, here's an old ski that I pulled off the fence. And it's a real straight ski. It's an old straight ski. So generally, people didn't get a lot into this in that time, you know, rounding off the top sheet. But you still wanted to do it. Okay, so this one hasn't, let's say we were going to tune this. We're going to do the same thing. And but what's interesting about this ski is on this top sheet right here, that's metal. Okay, that's either some kind of aluminum or Titanol or something. But it's got a really thick chunk of aluminum at the top of the top sheet. Top of the ski is plastic or fiberglass, or you know, but on that very edge it's got that metal there, so that's going to make it a little more difficult. But let's see what happens here. Okay, so stand by and we'll run the sidewall planer a bit first. Okay, now we've run the sidewall planer down the edge, and you see, you can almost see the little lip right here. If I get, it's hard to do, hold the camera here, okay? But as the ski gets skinnier, the sidewall planer ends up coming up and hitting the aluminum at the top. And my blade's dull, and she did cut into it a little bit, the aluminum piece, but it left some striations there. Okay, but that's why we're going to come back and start filing it to blend that all in. Stand by. Okay, here we go. Let's get the course file again. You know, probably don't need to keep showing this over and over, but this is a good example because this ski's got that metal on the top sheet right there, and a lot of skis have that. It may be a lot skinnier than this piece, but don't be afraid, okay? So I only ran the sidewall planer, you know, yay far down here. So we're just going to work it from here up, and that'll give you the idea. Again, this could be done all the way down to the binding on this ski is way down here. Again, though, generally it's just that foremost portion of the ski tip and the first leading, you know, part of it that needs to be done. As you come back toward the binding, you're probably not going to do it under the binding period, and at any rate, and then you can do the tail as well. So okay, here we go. Here we go. She's cutting that aluminum like crazy. And those softer steels will really clog up a file too, man. You don't want to let them stay in there too long and keep filing before you clean it out. And again, you're going to run your file some this way, then you're going to run it some this way, maybe even a little bit more until you come to that metal edge, the control edge. You just want to touch the top of it. So anyway, this she's getting a lot of junk in there right now. So we're going to just give it a quick brushy, get some of the junk out. Keep going. Now some people may ask, like, well, why doesn't the ski company just do this at the factory? Well, you know, I don't know. You know, they got enough to do already, and for most people, I guess, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but when you get more into it, though, this is what you do. And it's going to make a big difference. It's going to make a big difference in the life of the ski when it tacks something. The other thing it does is when you tip your ski up on edge, it's gonna get a better edge engagement period, because you've taken the entire side of that ski and given it a nice angle and smoothed it down. So again, the sidewall is a running surface when you're at a high edge angle. So there's more to this than just you're trying to prevent the skis from delaminating from the top sheet getting hit. It's also a performance enhancer when you are capable of high edge angles, which a lot of recreational skiers are not, but an advanced skier who can produce a high edge angle should definitely have the full-on sidewall treatment. Okay, not feeling too bad about that. It's getting better. I think we're pretty much there with the course file. And again, you know, could go way more to town on this, but you know, my ski tune videos are all really long, and probably got the message already. But again, different construction type of ski, so I wanted to show you something a little different. So like I said, I pulled this one off the dang ski fence. I don't have a lot of skis on my ski fence. I just got a couple of pairs that people give me. You know, just decorative. Not like I got 1,000 different kinds out there. Alright, I showed you something different. Okay. And go to the finer file. Get some of the really coarse striations out from that coarser file. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit more before we go to the sandpaper. And again, don't worry about a little ticking of your edge of your ski on the top side of it, because you're going to tune the ski, you know. Again, this is generally something that you're going to do straight out of the gate. But I do have customers bring me skis that they've already used and they've never done this to, and they've already pretty severely damaged this here. And I'll go ahead and do it for them, so that their skis don't get more damaged. And when they're really good high edge angle carvers and then they ski it, they just go, oh wow, that burger is engaging well and holding good. Okay, same deal. Let's come back with that 100 grit. Go right over this aluminum and fiberglass. Sand that puppy down with the 100. And again, you're going to tune the ski, so don't worry about running the sandpaper a little bit over the side edge of the ski. Okay. Doing pretty good about that. Coming back with the 180, I believe it was. Yes, some 180 grit. It's aluminum oxide sandpaper. And you can use this on your ski bases, you know. That's looking pretty good now. Coming in with that 180, sweet. Liking that. Oh yeah, nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. And it's rolled. It's blended. Okay. We brought that top sheet down, away from the edge. When the other ski pops up and hits this, it's going to be super smooth. And then again, you would take the non-contact shovel point of the edge and round that. Do not detune or round anything, once you get to the contact point. You're going to destroy your ski's edging ability. Only, and I like to go where it starts to rise up a teeny bit. And then that's where I usually start rounding. Now, if you want to get real technical, you could go right to the, actual first contact point. But I like to leave myself a little margin of safety where, that actually does have some engagement in the snow as the ski is sinking in and it's softer snow and you put it on edge. Okay? So anyway, blah, blah, blah. You want to round off that shovel edge. So when the shovel edge hits the other ski, it doesn't scar it up so bad. Okay, now we can come back for a final polish with a coarse fiber pad. Just a little further the smoothing, and that will finish it. Okay, so there we go. So obviously you would do this tip and tail on 4 skis. Okay, so we'll take this ski and we'll show you some more close-up images of what we did. Okay, look at that now. Sweet and smooth. All the way from the top sheet to the edge. Give you another view stand by here. I'll come down right here a little bit. See there? She's smooth now. Nice. We'll compare it to the other edge. Stand by. Okay, here's the edge that we just did. Oh, I got that light in the background. That's not helping. There's the edge we just did. Okay, we'll come straight on. Okay. And here's the edge we didn't do. You see now, from looking straight down it, you're not seeing, well, you're seeing it's really square. And over here, we're seeing it's way more rounded. So, come around this side a little bit. Anyway, we're well rounded here and smoothed off. And over here, and not so much so. Okay, kind of hard to see, I guess, right here, but I think this, like, I never know how good these things look till I get them on the big screen. There's the not done side, and there is the done side. Okay, let's try another view. Here's the done side from the top looking down, and here's the undone side from the top looking down. Yeah, I think that's better, a better example. Okay, so I'm going to keep about that same angle. And there's the side that's been done. So you can clearly see a Z difference, a Z difference, a Z difference. Alright, I think that ought to just about do it for what we call a sidewall preparation of a sandwich ski and top sheet blending. That is the way you do it, folks. Your top sheet will last a lot longer. Your ski will engage an edge, and the side wall of that sandwich ski, being a running surface, will be much better. Focus, focus. Okay, so there you go. Catch me a while ago.